welcome to round one of the prediction series on this channel. Now, before the season started for different football or soccer leagues around the world, I made a little list while I was sitting in the break room at Walmart and decided to make some predictions for each one because I had them in my head and I was thinking, what might end up happening in these leagues. So round one today, first league that finished up is the championship, the English League Championship. I haven't opened this document in since I wrote it for the sake of not changing anything. So it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. Off the top of my head, and don't get me wrong, I'm not very knowledgeable about this league at all. I started following soccer or football mostly last year. Started following Wolves, and ever since then I just have kind of been following the Prem. But this year is sort of the first year where I started keeping tabs on the Championship, which at the start of the year looked like a good move considering that these guys were in a dire situation. It's all fine now, thank you, Yulan Lopetegui. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna pull up this note. I have a little spreadsheet too. So as far as the scoring system, basically I'm gonna take as many places as I was off on this document. So basically if I have a team in first place and they get sixth, then it's 5 places off, and that sort of thing. So yeah, with that, I will pull up this note. Off the top of my head, things that I remember, I want to say I had West Brom either in 4th or 5th and going up through the promotion playoff. That was primarily out of a desire to see Midlands derbies in the Premier League between Wolves and West Brom. So there's that. But then also, I want to say I based a lot of this off of my FIFA 21 knowledge of which teams were up in the Prem. I just figured they'd have rebound years. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing how this went. Let me see. I'll get this set up. Alright, I have it up, and actually it's not looking too bad. What I said about West Brom was pretty accurate. They did not live up to my expectation. But there are some definite misses. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So first off, we'll start from the bottom. My bottom pick was Rotherham, and their actual position was 19th. So just missed by about 5 there. So not off to a terrible start. I don't know much about Rotherham, but yeah, I picked them to finish 24th, and they did not. Next up, and this is not looking like a bad miss. All right, Wigan Athletic, 23rd in my prediction. No real rhyme or reason to it. I believe I had seen that they had come up somewhat recently, but only 1 spot off on that, so already a decent start there. And then my other relegation pick was Birmingham. Now, I don't know why I picked this in particular. I believe with most of these teams at the bottom, I'd seen whether they had come up somewhat recently, and then just based it off of that. But I did pick Birmingham to finish 22nd, and they finished 17th, so 5 spots off there. Next up, in my 21st spot, now this is the big miss, and I knew it was coming. I based this prediction pretty much solely off the fact that Sunderland had come up just the year before, but I did know that Sunderland is a very historical club with a lot of history and respect and fans. So I chose them to stay up, but just barely. And what did they do? Make the promotion playoff, and they have a chance to go into the Premier League next season. Which, side note, I believe that'd be too early if that was the case, but. Yeah, I did pick Sunderland to finish in the league, but 21st. So first big miss, 15 spots off on that. So unfortunate, but who really expected this out of Sunderland except the fans, right? 20th place, I had Swansea. Now, again, no real rhyme or reason to this. Don't know much about the league, or I didn't know much coming in. But I picked Swansea to finish 20th, and the actual was Queen's Park Rangers, who I picked to finish a lot higher up than they actually did. But yeah, Swansea ended up finishing, let's see, in 10th, so 10 spots off. Another decent sized miss there, but we'll take what we can get. 19th, I had Bristol. Now, Bristol ended up finishing 14th, so mid-table. Not too mad about that prediction there, 5 spots off. What can you do? You know, coming into this, I believe I also thought that the promotion playoffs was 6 teams rather than 4, so I believe that's why I had QPR as high as I did. But, you know, over the season, I've gained a lot more knowledge about the leagues, to say the least, so hopefully next year will be better. 18th, I had Reading. Now, Reading actually ended up going down this year. But again, low mid-table, not too mad about the pick, 4 spots off. So, good looks, I guess. 17th, I had Coventry. Now, to say the least, I don't know much about Coventry, and I didn't at the time of this prediction. But Coventry is one of the hopefuls to get into next season's Premier League, so another pretty big miss there. 12 spots off, having finished 5th in the actual league. But yeah, not great. Next up we had Cardiff. Now, I believe I had Cardiff as high as they were, even though they were in poor form, because Gareth Bale was potentially going to join the team, and I realized that Gareth Bale, being on the older side, he wasn't going to add much to this Cardiff City team, but then I'm not sure if I made this prediction before or after he decided not to join, not that he was ever going to in the first place. But again, another low mid-table finish, 16th in my predictions, 21st in actuality, 5 spots off. What can you do? 15th, I had Hull. Now, wow. Bang on, Hull City. Gonna take that W there. Hull City, I only know because of Harry Maguire and because they have similar colors to Wolves, even though Wolves is gold and Hull is orange. But I will take my first bang on championship prediction with Hull City in 15th, so pretty happy there. 14th, I had Luton Town. Now, Luton Town, again, way outperformed what I expected out of them when I was making these predictions. So, just going to take that L there, 11 spots off. Few big misses here. Now, I realized I've been forgetting to enter these as I've been going. Alright, now that we are updated, we'll get back into the predictions and the actual spot finishes. So, yeah, Luton Town way outperformed what I thought, evidently. But yeah, next up is Blackpool, who, Blackpool, I don't know where that prediction came from. Blackpool at the time must have been in pretty good form, or something to that effect, because evidently I did not pick that right. 10 spots off. Blackpool are of course going down this year, so see you in League One, Blackpool. But then in 12th I had Stoke. Now, Stoke ended up finishing 16th. So I'm not going to be too mad there. Another straight mid-table, mid-team finish. So I'll take only a few spots off. But then in 11th, I had Millwall. Now, I don't know what the expectations were for Millwall before the season, but they ended up falling off on that final day, of course. And I had them in 11th. They ended up in 8th. So I will take a 3-spot difference, of course. Having not known much about the league coming in, but yeah, I'll take that. 10th place now, I had Blackburn Rovers, who ended up finishing in 7th. So again, I will take this 3 spots off. I had Blackburn just above Millwall, so there you go. Ended up getting that sequence correct, so not too mad about that. And now in 9th place, Preston North End was my choice. Again, 3 spots off, kind of on a streak here, guessing these sort of higher mid-table teams correctly. So I'm not too mad about it. Preston ended up 12th. These teams sort of didn't really perform to their standards, or at least the ones that I set for them before the season. So not too mad there. Now, this big miss that we've already discussed a little bit earlier is QPR. Now, QPR ended up finishing in 20th. I believe the reason why I did pick them so high is because of their history in the Premier League. And I just figured that maybe they would have a shot to get close to promotion playoff spots, but evidently they have some work to do, and that was pretty evident early on in the season. So yeah, for now, QPR 8th, 12 spots off, not looking great. But then this one, also a little bit off, but I'm not too mad about, is my Middlesbrough pick at 7th. Now, Middlesbrough, they obviously performed very well throughout the season. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I believe that I thought there were actually 6 promotion playoff spots, because I didn't know much about the league coming in. Just sort of picked names, so just wait for that Premier League prediction. That's going to be more accurate to the league. But then Middlesbrough, I did pick a sort of mid to high finish, so I'm not too mad about that. Only 3 spots off, of course, so I will take my wins where I can get them. What's next? 6th place, I had Huddersfield. Now, Huddersfield ended up in 18th. That is not good looks for me. I believe at the time they were flying high in the league when I made this prediction, and they had ended off the last year in good form as well, and maybe had some good preseason showings. But man, Huddersfield fell off big time. Sorry to any Huddersfield fans. That's unfortunate. But next, of course, I had Watford. Now, Watford, having just gone down the year before, I figured that they'd at least outperform some of these other teams, QPR, Preston North End, that had been up there, but not necessarily close to the top, and evidently that was not the case. Watford just had a mid-year. They need to sort their stuff out, get back to the Premier League. I'm not going to say where they belong, since they seem like a swing team. But yeah, Watford, 6 spots off. Again, I will take my wins where I can get them. It's not really a win, but yeah, mid-table. Fine with me. 4th place, of course, as I explained earlier, West Brom. I was going to have them advancing throughout the playoff, or throughout the promotion playoff, so that we could have some Midlands derbies in the Premier League. But yeah, we're going to have to wait on that one. Maybe there's an FA Cup tie next year. Who really knows? But 5 spots off for West Brom. Yeah, not getting in the Premier League anytime soon, it appears. So we're just going to have to wait for those derbies. 3rd place now, I had Sheffield United. Now, this top does not look too bad. Other than the Norwich pick, of course, we're looking pretty decent. So I had Sheffield in my 3rd place spot, and they finished 2nd, so only 1 place off. Sheffield United, of course, history in the Premier League, so I chose them pretty high, and it paid off. Good season, and of course, automatic promotion. Can't deny that. But then the 2nd place pick. Now, this is where I messed up a little bit, and maybe that US bias comes into play. Now, Norwich, I picked 11 spots off. Yeah, I just figured, Norwich, maybe they'd have a better shot because of Sargent up front, looking pretty dynamic in some of those U.S. friendlies, but no, Norwich did not finish that high, and Norwich is a mid-table team, and maybe Sargent needs to perform better in the championship than in some of those preseason friendlies, and maybe I need to watch more championship football. But anyway, I am very happy to announce that my champion prediction, which I completely forgot, evidently, was Burnley. I figured that Burnley going out pretty close to the end of last season was a little bit fluky. Maybe they'd come through and just run the table in the championship, and that is pretty much what happened. Of course, Company coming in was a great addition to the team, and Ashley Barnes sticking out the year, obviously great as well. And yeah, looking forward to have Burnley back in the Premier League next year, and of course, yeah, looking good on that league prediction. So 2 spots bang on. We'll add up the sum of how many spots I was off, just to see sort of how we're looking. I was a total of 146 spots off, which is an average of 6 spots off per team. Now, coming into this, obviously, I mentioned multiple times that I did not know much about the championship in particular, and only 6 spots off per team I'm not going to be too mad about there. Obviously, there were some big misses like Sunderland and some of the other teams, such as QPR, Huddersfield, Coventry, of course. Next year, I think that Sunderland will be back in the championship. I think it's too early for them to get promoted. But if they can make some summer signings and get right, then they will be back up in the Premier League in no time. As far as my predictions for who goes up this year, I'm thinking that it will probably be Middlesbrough, just because of the early season form and carrying that towards the end. But obviously it's going to be a very interesting promotion playoff. So yeah, looking forward to Burnley and Sheffield back in the Premier League next season, and maybe next season with a little more knowledge I can make predictions not based solely off of my knowledge of FIFA. So yeah, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the predictions video. This is more just an update to see how I did, but look forward to the Premier League predictions upcoming, and look forward to the other leagues that I predicted as well, such as the Eredivisie, because I am a big Ajax fan. That one's obviously going to be a bit off considering how the season's gone so far. So yeah, look forward to those videos. Always go Wolves, of course. But yeah, look forward to those, and I will see you guys in the next one.